Today's video, we're going to be taking a look here at this upcoming storminess. There is a few major storms that we need to take a look at, especially in the central and eastern United States. We also have this cooldown that we are currently in. We're going to be talking about how long that's going to last and when we could see a massive warm up, potentially even a heat wave in that upcoming pattern, especially as we take a look at the next 10-15 days. We'll see that change in the tides coming up eventually. That's going to really transition us into the summertime. Now, before I get into things, I did want to tell you guys about our trilogymaps.com. That's my other business. We did launch those regional maps that you guys can check out. We launched those just the other day. We do have a 50% off store-wide sale ongoing, and also if you use my code DIRECT, you will get another 33% off, so it's an absolutely killer deal that you cannot miss out on. Be sure to check those out in the pinned comment and description down below, where you can access all of those maps. It's been an incredible journey that I've taken with you guys on this side business, and it has been a huge success. So I thank all of you who have purchased any of those maps. I want to put this out there as well real quickly. If you have tried to email the email on Trilogy Maps, you should check your spam and your junk folder in your emails, because for some reason it has been popping up in there sometimes. Even if you email us first and we respond, it will possibly end up in the junk and spam folder. We have responded to almost every single email that we've gotten. So if you have not gotten a response, or at least if it seems that way, go ahead and check the junk and the spam. Sorry for that disclaimer for everybody that hasn't made a purchase, but I wanted to get that out there because we have gotten a few people talking about that. Now, as we reach into the day tomorrow, you can see that we have, first off, a pretty major cold front here stretching across a lot of the central United States and the Great Lakes. We also have a coastal storm, a more organized low here that is making its way up the east coast here. So these two factors are really what's impacting the eastern United States thus far. Now, we're going to have to see how quickly this cold front can move in, because this is going to want to move up the coast, but that cold front is going to push it out to sea eventually. Now, the timing between those two factors is going to play a huge role in what kind of conditions overall we end up seeing. Now, as we take a look at about Saturday the 20th here, we can see that this coastal storm on this model does end up taking over the entire mid-Atlantic and southern New England before that cold front even arrives there. So this is just by Tuesday afternoon, and this cold front hasn't even arrived until later on Sunday morning, Sunday noontime, and maybe even into the afternoon here. You can see it's basically taking place mostly for the southern mid-Atlantic into the southeast. It's mostly said and done here for a lot of the northeast and the northern mid-Atlantic. And what this will end up leaving us with is a very large ridge out west and a pretty decent trough in the east here, as we have a major Arctic basically air mass that has moved into eastern Canada, and this is spitting off some Arctic air into the eastern United States. I know it is very late season for this, but it is in fact occurring, so it is what we have to talk about. Unfortunately, I wish I could be talking about summer days and humidity and heat and thunderstorms at this point in the year. At least that's what I wish I could be talking about, but that is not what we're talking about at this point, obviously. The jet stream is doing this by the time we're reaching about early next week, Monday time frame. Tuesday here, we can see a lot of storminess actually building throughout a lot of the west here, and a little bit of snowfall in there, but we are really winding down with the wintry weather. We can see that there is plenty of precipitation kind of riding along this jet here. That is taking place mostly for southern Canada, both eastern, central, and western there Canada. We're seeing that. This eventually leads towards a low trying to develop on multiple occasions here throughout the upper Midwest. And if we can get a cold front, warm front here, this could be our next major storm crossing the nation, especially for severe weather along that cold front zone. But this never really wants to get its act together. And matter of fact, we could see more kind of southeast energy taking over, and mostly this kind of storm track up here taking place as well. So kind of dry for the southern corridors here for the most part, and in general for the east there in the long range. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens here in the later portion of May, because this has just so far been a very unusual pattern, to say the least. As we take a look at that total precipitation, it kind of tells the full story. Again, a lot of precipitation near that jet stream in southern Canada, the very far northern regions of the United States. We do deal with quite a bit of storminess here for the south central United States, especially earlier on in the model run. We do see that kind of wind down as time goes on. And then for the southeast, there's a couple of storms that take place, including the one happening now, but also we see more trying to make their way up this corridor. So I'm curious if that will be a more dominant storm track in the upcoming pattern. Only time we'll be able to tell, of course, but it is pretty interesting. Now, total snowfall here, as you can see, has dwindled. We see hardly any for our mountainous west there, hardly any as well for the northern Rockies, and the southern Rockies here, especially here in Colorado, are hanging on for dear life to winter. And I would say we have very limited amount of time for this total snowfall to even be a factor here. This is running out very, very quickly, and we're seeing the end of winter really take place and the beginning of summer move in. So this is just extremely interesting in my opinion, and always a very fun time of year for me as we transition into a very, very new kind of weather pattern, and then eventually fall and winter. I mean, it's a full circle, obviously, the seasons, and I'm just excited for all of it upcoming with you guys. Let's quickly take a look at our temperature patterns. We can see a lot of cold in the east. Again, that's kind of what we've talked about. Here's that Arctic air mass bringing 10, 15 degree, even 20 degree below normal temperatures here. So significant departures in the negative direction from what is typical. I think that's very important to note. We can also see along the western United States, we have a very, very strong positive PNA. And what this means is all of our air has to move around this, basically, our jet stream, and it's dipping down here across the central, and especially here you can see the eastern United States. And as this happens, it pulls down this Arctic air into these regions in the east when we have this positive PNA. Now, by the end of this, I'll be able to show you what the opposite of this would mean. As we keep going, we see the cold blasts continue through the weekend, through into Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday timeframe. But notice the main blob of heat here is now over the northern plains and the upper Midwest, as well as the Great Lakes here. So we are seeing a significant eastern shift here in this very, very warm air mass. And we're seeing some colder temperatures able to work their way into the west. That's already by Tuesday the 23rd. As we keep going, we see that kind of warmest air mass stays over the central and eventually the eastern United States by about the 28th, 29th. And look at here, we have mostly colder temperatures here for the west here. And this is going to be a negative PNA, and this forces the warm air around this from the south this time instead of from the north. And that encourages warmer temperatures across the central and eastern United States. And as you can see, this is fully what ends up taking place here on this particular model run. So we are seeing things trend in a warmer and warmer direction for the end of May, beginning of June timeframe. We actually get to May 31st today, and we can see plenty of blues here across a lot of your west again, like I said. Lots and lots of oranges and yellows here happening in the east and especially the north central United States. By tomorrow, we'll be able to see to June 1st. And this next week or so is going to be very interesting as we get a picture into the first week of June. So stay tuned with us. Be sure to subscribe. We do upload every single day. You can even hit the bell icon for daily notifications when we upload. Also, be sure to check out those trilogy maps. Again, the link in the description and pinned comment down below for those. If you have any interest in creating weather maps or any other sorts of maps, we have educational maps is something is a very common use for them. Any sort of map uses you could think of, you could probably use our maps for. So they're worth checking out today, of course. Especially while we have that deal going on, the 50% off plus the 33% off. I mean, it's dang near 100% off, so you better go check it out while deals last. Be sure to also like the video if you did enjoy it. Leave a comment down below because I appreciate hearing from you guys so much. It's one of my favorite parts of my entire day is reading you guys' comments. I hope you guys have a great day. I'll see you guys in the next one.